All right. Hey, herd watching crowd or herd watchers. I don't know what we're calling ourselves yet. Anyway, I had a minute, a very short minute, probably 3 or 4, and I figured I would jump live real quick and go ahead and talk about the press conference. I have a longer video coming up on the Michael Flynn thing, the internal leaks, that sort of political assassination that's happening, and how that's edging towards real warfare, real open administrative war, and how that may in fact be pushing us to a situation where there's real physical conflict for the continued operation of this democracy. And frankly, you know, the short take is somebody needs to go to jail over this. And if it turns out that Barack Obama and Organizing for America in any way encouraged, paid for, or communicated with those who are leaking classified information, then those organizations need to come under review. And we're going to be in an unprecedented constitutional situation no matter what. But let's put that aside for a moment. The more immediate thing, in the sense that it just happened a day ago, is Donald Trump's long hour and change press conference. I watched it live. I don't know how many of you did. And what I said on social media right then was that it was one of the most effective press conferences I'd seen. And that's true. Now, let's be really clear here. If you are on the left and you are sort of sucking in everything that CNN and the AP and MSNBC is handing you, if you're sort of living in their worldview, then that press conference reinforced everything you were worried about. You are being told it was chaotic. You are being told Trump was confused. You are being told that people were confused in the audience. You are being told that a Jewish reporter was yelled at and berated, and you're being told all of this stuff, and you're buying it. And even if you watch the press conference, you're watching it from that particular frame, and your confirmation bias is going to kick in, and you are just going to be out of your mind about this. And the reason why that doesn't matter for how effective the press conference was the press conference wasn't aimed at you. It didn't have anything at all to do with, it certainly wasn't going to bring the media over to Donald Trump's side. It was never going to explain anything in a way that the media was going to put the message out in a reasonable way. The press conference never had as its goal or intention the idea that any of you on the left were going to be won over, or that he was going to manage to soothe you. And that's the brilliance of the Donald Trump strategy right now, is he's not even attempting to soothe you. He doesn't waste his time on it because you're unsoothable. You have worked yourself up into such a frenzy. And if you're the media, your only exit strategy from the entire Donald Trump presidency at this point is his impeachment. It's your only way out of utter irrelevance, and it's your only mechanism for regaining some sort of real influence in American politics. You now, if you're CNN, you have to essentially politically assassinate Donald Trump, or be forever marginalized as the irrelevancy you are, because you couldn't get rid of Donald Trump even when you put your whole weight behind it. You've gone so far now that everyone watching realizes this is a battle of influence, and it's a battle for survival. And Trump knows this. So he made no attempt at soothing the press, and in fact he attacked them at every opportunity. He made no attempt at creating words that could not be twisted against him, because he knows they're going to be twisted no matter what. The Trump press conference spoke to the moderate, and it spoke to the soft right. So those people who are moderates and rights, who maybe support Trump policies and supported Donald Trump, are a little iffy because they're starting to get nervous by the relentlessly negative coverage, and they needed a little bit of talking to. They needed some reaching out and a show of strength, and that's what they got. And the brilliance of it from an influence standpoint, from a narrative building standpoint, is the way he was able to telegraph during the press conference every attack that we're seeing today against him. So he mentioned And tomorrow you're going to turn on CNN, or later today, and you're going to find that I was angry and unhinged, and that I was pounding the table, or whatever it is, you know, the way he characterized it. And he's like, and if you watch me, you know, am I any of those things, or am I calm and measured? Am I having a good time? And he pointed that out, and millions of Americans watched it. And then millions of Americans turned on their TV that day and that night and saw a reporter say Donald Trump was unhinged. He was angry, and he was, you know, he berated a reporter, and and none of it happened. It just didn't happen that way. And everybody who's open-minded, who saw him predict the attacks, point out how ridiculous they were, and then those people who then watched those attacks unfold, Trump made his point. Trump made his point incredibly eloquently. And every time a reporter tried to lay a trap, Trump hammered them. So the press is going to go ahead as the judge of the boxing match, and they're going to hold up all their placards, and they're going to talk about having won on points. And just like during the campaign, they're going to come away from this thinking that they got him, that they got their shots in, and that this is the time he looks crazy. And they're losing more and more and more people. And yes, you look on social media and you'll see, you know, any number of people panic-ridden, and they're, oh my God, he's unhinged. You know, all the normal idiocy, all the normal panic, all the normal fear-mongering. And then the AP today comes out with, you know, oh, Donald Trump is going to deploy, you know, 100,000 National Guard troops and aliens, and oh, they're bringing the UFOs out from Roswell, and they're going to, you know, turn our poor defenseless illegal aliens into, you know, pods for whatever. You know what? Who even cares anymore? Does anybody even really pay attention to the AP other than other media people? Oh, that's right. There's a huge number of people on the left who still think the AP is relevant. But the AP and all those agencies that ran that story, you're losing the middle. You lose in the middle. You lost the right hard. You lost a bunch of moderates you thought you had, and you are now losing them forever. So if you want to know how effective the Donald Trump press conference was, talk to me in a week when we see the Rasmussen polls. Talk to me when we see his approval rating, because you're wrong. And he kicked your ass. Talk to you guys later.